This program airs statewide on California Public Television and is a California's Gold classic. This series is endorsed by the California Teachers Association, the California School Boards Association, and the California Library Association. Hi, I'm Huell. You know, one of the things we have discovered in our travels around California is that once you get off the main highways and get out onto the little roads, there's no telling what you're going to find. Now, right now, we are definitely on a little road. We're in San Bernardino County in the Mojave Desert, and this road is on the map, but there's no number to it. And when you first look down the highway, there doesn't look like there's very much out there. But we have been assured by experts that there is indeed a lot of neat stuff right down that road, both man-made and natural. So what we have done is we've invited Jim Foote from the Bureau of Land Management and Bob and Jennifer Reynolds from the San Bernardino Museum to come along with us to point out all this neat stuff to us. It promises to be a real adventure. It's also going to be hot, because, ladies and gentlemen, the weather forecast for today in this area is 115 degrees. So if you're up for some fun and you have plenty of ice water, come on along with us as we all continue our search together out of the middle of nowhere for California's gold.
California, here I come, right back where I started from, where bowers of flowers bloom in the spring. Each morning at dawn and birdies sing, and everything a sun-kissed miss said, don't be late. That's why I can hardly wait. Open up that golden gate. California, here I come. California, here I come.
Heading down the highway, going through an area known as Wonder Valley, first thing we noticed were these weather-beaten, deserted houses, almost shacks, all along the side of the road. Why were they there? Was there a story here? Well, our curiosity got the best of us, and we pulled over to investigate. Well, we have picked up yet another person with us since we started this trip. Jim Copeland lives out here. Jim, tell us about these little houses and what they're all about.
Well, this little cabin up here was built probably in the late 1950s. People acquired the land through a government homestead act that said you'd own it if you improved it. And the minimum improvement usually boiled down to a 500 square foot cabin or 400 square foot cabin, and this is one of them.
So you mean they gave out parcels of land?
5 acres became yours if you improved it. And this is an improvement here, or what's left of an improvement.
I was going to say, this doesn't look like much of an improvement. Did people actually come out here and live out here?
Usually people came out on the weekends. This is before RVs and before cheap airplane tickets to the Bahamas and things of that sort. People came out here and would spend the weekend, leave on Friday night, before the freeway, take the highway out here, and they'd come out here and haul their water out, and then Sunday nights they'd leave and go back to L.A. And this was the getaway before recreational vehicles and things of that sort evolved.
Now, I have seen pictures, old pictures, that look like there was homesteading going out here, you know, early on, much before the 50s and 60s.
This was the second phase. The first phase evolved out of the First World War. People who were gassed and victims of tuberculosis and things of that sort homesteaded plots of up to 160 acres, and those were the founding fathers of the town, really, and many of the streets are named after them.
Of 29 Palms.
Of 29 Palms, and this is this east end of the Morongo Basin that applies to this also. Now, these cabins came along about 30 years later. Going around here, there are a handful of the old 160-acre homesteads still left. The houses that were somewhat bigger usually had water tanks. This is unusual, and this has a water tank.
Well, what would they do for water? There's no water out here.
Well, generally speaking, a truck would come out with a load of water, and for $10 or $20, they'd get the tank filled. And it took care of the minimum necessities. Usually these were just for washing dishes. There was an outhouse out back, so it wasn't for indoor plumbing.
Well, there's the water tank, but wait a minute, there's an air conditioner. This was a kind of a fancy one, wasn't it?
This is an upgrade. This is an upgrade. This wasn't built this way.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, electricity didn't come out here till about 1965. So that meter box there is an add-on also. None of these had electricity to begin with. There were a handful of houses out here that had generators, but only 2 or 3 of them. That's why the water's up on a stand, the tank's up on a stand, so that the gravity would allow it to run into the house, because there was no power to run things.
And look at this, way out, I mean, in the middle of nowhere is this little, what is that, a concrete block little house out there?
There are a few concrete block houses. Concrete's expensive because it was heavy and it was hard to haul, so usually people would bring lumber out in the back of their pickups and so forth. And a few of the cabins were concrete block, and they were fairly well built, and then in other cases they had no reinforcement or anything in them, but they've stood the test of time fairly well.
Well, where is everybody? I mean, we're here, but I don't see anybody else. Nobody lives out here.
This is sort of a museum to the 50s. A lot of these cabins have reverted back to the county. The owners have passed away, and somebody's inherited the land, and we've found in many cases that people have never been to the property that they own. So some of these cabins haven't been touched in 20, 25 years. They're just sitting here. And that's why some of them appear to be as deteriorated as they are.
Little bits of history.
Just little bits of history.
Well, that was interesting to see the old homesteads. But time was wasted. We had to get back on the road. And you want to see a long, straight road heading out to nowhere, you're looking at it. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure we were going to find anything else worth stopping for. And then we spotted something off to the side of the road. It was white and went on forever. What was this?
Now, this is Bristol Lake playa, and every winter it seems to be full of water, but after a few months the solution evaporates and leaves us with this baked white pan full of halite, or common table salt. It's a little bit impure. You wouldn't want to use it on your table, but it's the same crystal, same mineral that you find packaged in Morton salt. But actually they shoot very little of this salt. They ship very little of this salt.
Can we walk out on this thing?
Yeah. You can see how the crystals grow, and on both sides of the crust expands and buckles into these pressure ridges we see around here.
So is this salt?
That's halite. Taste it. It's yours. There goes the old blood pressure.
It tastes like salt.
Yeah.
Really?
With another purification, it would be ready for the table, but it's not really the economical product out here. A little bit of it is shipped to Needles for water softening and things like that.
Jim, what do people say when they come by here? What do they think is going on around here? Because I looked out here and I thought it was a big salt bed.
Well, contrary to popular belief, we are not on another planet, and even though it feels we're about 10 miles from the sun, we're on Bristol Dry Lake, and people are really wondered what's going on here. Really, the mystery of this area is when you come through here, as Bob mentioned, when it's covered with water. It appears as if we have a beautiful oasis out here with boating possibilities and all kind of recreation opportunities. But really, all we have is very shallow depth, and once the rains stop, it evaporates very quickly. This is what we have, and people really are probably mystified. I bet they stop over at the Amboy Cafe and ask Buster over there, what the heck is going on out there?
Well, it is a strange looking, and look, right beneath that, you're sinking down. This is mud down here.
Very much so. It still holds a lot of water. As evidenced by that, the water table probably is quite high.
Can we walk out? Let's walk out. Come on, Louie. You're not going to go in. Let's try, because it's really interesting the way this just buckles up. Look at this. It's a very hard shell. But if you break through the shell, it's like breaking through ice, isn't it?
Look. Yes.
Yeah.
You could lose a shoe in here real easily. There are all sorts of wonderful lost treasure stories, all of which are untrue, I believe, about stagecoaches full of gold going across dry lakes and sinking in the middle, never to be seen again.
Ah, so 100 years ago, a stagecoach could have been heading out across here, thinking they were on solid land and just sink with the strong box full of gold.
Absolutely. Wouldn't that be great?
Well, now we have left the salt beds. We're heading down the road again, and we're on our way. We're going to cut across over here. We're on our way to an honest-to-goodness volcano. At least that's what it looks like to me. We're going to find out once we get there. A big black volcano. Okay, Jim, I have never seen a volcano in person before, and I have a feeling that's a volcano. Am I right, or set us straight on that?
That's exactly right. What we have here is the Amboy Crater. It was designated as a national natural landmark some years ago. Has a very unique feature here. Although there are other cinder cones that are symmetrical, in the general area, this stands alone in the fact that it has some unusual features. They're all very close by, out in the lava field that's near here. Looking at the floor of the cinder cone inside, which we're soon going to take a look at up close.
So we're going to hike up to the top and look down in, right?
That's exactly right. We're going to drive around to the west side here and see what we can see from the up close and right in there.
That is quite an impressive sight when you're driving down the road. This huge big black cinder cone.
It served as a landmark for a number of years. As we came along the approach road here, we were on Route 66, so there's been thousands of people here that have come by, used this as a landmark throughout the days, and of course now that Interstate 40 has bypassed Route 66, not as many people come through here.
And I wonder how many of those thousands and thousands of people ever stopped and climbed that thing like we're going to do today. Well, how many do you think there were?
You see the trail where many have tried.
And probably not during this time of year either.
Well, that says something about us, but we're hiking into the volcano.
Well, we're going to try to drive a little closer than we are now first.
Well, I wanted it to sound, come on, go along with this thing. We're going to hike into the volcano.
Okay, we're going to really endure hardship here, and we're going to be on hands and knees up to the top.
Well, to be honest with you, I wish we had walked in. That was the bumpiest ride I have ever been on. I mean, we went over a road that really wasn't even a road to get to that volcano. I'm just glad to be here.
Well, that was a tough hike in, Huell. I have to admit that.
No, that was a rough ride in here.
Come on. I thought we were supposed to indicate that we walked in.
Now, we are on the short side, the little side of the cone, right?
This is the breach in the symmetrical cone, and this is where much of the lava originally did flow out into this huge field out here.
So this is the easy way to go in.
This is the very easy way to go in.
Okay, so we're going to take a hike through all of this lava up into the cone. And this should be something. Boy, this is amazing rock here too. This too is extremely barren and desolate.
Very much like a moonscape here.
I feel like I'm in Death Valley or something.
Well, I'm sure it's a lot cooler in Death Valley today, but
than it is here?
Than it is here, but I haven't noticed any vultures circling, so I think we're safe for the time being.
Boy, this is an amazing, desolate spot, just rising right up out of nowhere. I mean, we're pretty high up.
We're getting up there. The top of the rim is about 250 feet above the valley floor.
Look over here, Louie. We still got to go. We're falling behind our friends. Hey, y'all, wait for us. We're from the city. Takes us a little while longer. Boy, look at that one over there.
That's part of the rim of this volcano here, of the crater itself.
And this is the short side we're going up.
That's right. This is the easy way.
I'm glad we... Never mind. Inside a volcano, and it looks, I guess, like what I thought it would look like. I'm not sure what my expectations were.
Well, we'll get a better view once we get on the rim, but this is a pretty good start right here.
And you found some rocks over here for us. What have we got?
Yeah, what we're seeing here are two types of volcanic structures. One is the flow rock, the basalt flows, which span many miles around this. And here you see the ropey flow, or pahoehoe basalt, characteristic of those basalt flows.
So all this flowed out.
Right. But then in the final phases of the eruption, you have this cinder cone developed, and it is mainly ejecta, or pieces of rock that were shot into the air. And this is a volcanic bomb, sort of a teardrop shaped, at the time it was plastic or molten, that was thrown into the air. And
A volcanic bomb.
And that's what makes up all the walls of this cinder cone.
Wow.
Then the latest phase of eruption was from the 3 little cones in the center of this massive event.
Now, when did this last erupt?
Well, the methods of dating this have not been conclusive.
Well, in a ballpark,
It's probably, at least the basalt flows are older than 50,000 and maybe even 100,000. Parts of this crater look young, parts of it look old, so it could be as old as 10,000.
But it's a dead volcano now.
It has the potential of being active in the future, just as many of the faults in the area do. What was kind of interesting is I've yet to hear these rumors substantiated, but allegedly when the railroad would come through Amboy and early in the history of Route 66, the local town people would come up here with tires and fuel oil and even dynamite and put on a big show with lots of black smoke and eruptions.
Oh, from inside the volcano.
For the local travelers. So it was a big thing. So.
Had you heard that story?
I've heard something to that effect. I'm
So
sure
the locals would fool the tourists and make them think the volcano was coming back to life.
it's a great game, you bet.
Well, it would have fooled me. I would have been out of here. It would have worked for
Or
me.
else you would have grabbed your camera and come closer.
Exactly. Boy, a volcanic bomb. I've never seen one of these. This just gets better and better. This is great. Well, we lost one. Your wife stopped halfway up, right?
Yep.
But it was worth it to get up here all the way to the top.
We can see quite a panorama up here.
What are we seeing out here?
Well, if we look immediately to the north here, of course, we're just looking out in the broad valley here to a series of mountain ranges across the way. As you look up toward the northeast, hopefully that's not a mirage, but actually the town of Amboy.
Which is where we're going next for lunch, right?
I can't wait.
Oh,
I'm sure
boy.
they have some good cold drinks over there.
Oh, don't even say that. And now we're looking down into the middle of the volcano here.
That's correct.
We're on the rim of the cinder cone, and you can see after that was formed that we have 2 other small cinder cones forming the interior. That and the third on this right side over here were the final events of the eruption.
And you just lost your hat. Look at this.
It's lucky there's a cool breeze.
And Jim is going down the side. Watch it. We don't want to lose you. How high up are we right here?
We're about 250 feet above the valley floor.
Oh, boy. No, we don't need any of that. And look over there. There are the salt flats that we visited earlier. Boy, you can see forever.
It sure seems to be forever.
And it looks hot.
It not only looks hot, it is hot today.
What was this? Was this ever used for anything?
At one time, it's on record that the Santa Fe Railroad owned this area in here, and they probably did purchase it or have the land in hopes of using it for cinders as basalt with their operation. But fortunately, it never got to that point, and since that time, the Bureau of Land Management has acquired the land, so we can protect it now.
Yeah, well, this is a beautiful, perfect example of something. I mean, this must make your heart beat.
Yep, definitely.
Fast.
We're in a whole row of these cinder cones, and to our north is the Pisgah Crater. You can see Dish Hill, which has been mined. Those have all been mined, but this is the only one that hasn't been touched by mining equipment in the series of cones.
Wow. Well, it was worth the walk up, but as we leave, we want to pan back over here at the little town of Amboy, because I understand there's a cafe there with homemade lemonade being served right now.
And I'm sure it tastes like the best lemonade on earth.
So Amboy, here we come, off the volcano and into the coffee shop. Wonder how long it'll take us to get there. Well, it didn't take too long, because as soon as we climbed back down that old volcano, we were flying down old Route 66, heading for Amboy. Now, I'd already heard that Amboy wasn't a very big town, but that turned out to be an understatement, because right now you're looking at the entire town. Well, here we are in beautiful downtown Amboy. There's the Amboy Post Office. Here's a guy and his dog. What are y'all doing out here in the middle of nowhere?
Well, we're getting ready to go to California to see my mom and dad.
Well, you're in California.
Well, and I'm here.
Where are you from?
Nevada.
Nevada. Is it hotter over here today or over in Nevada?
It's hotter here.
Is it?
It's a lot hotter here.
So Nevada is straight down that way.
Yep.
How's your dog holding up?
Pretty good. He likes riding in the air conditioning.
Woo. Are these people with you?
No.
You don't know who they are.
No.
Let's see who they are. Welcome to Amboy.
Welcome.
You're now in Amboy.
Yes, that's right.
You ever been here before?
Yes, my grandma works right inside here.
Oh, she works in there.
Yeah.
So you all come out here a lot.
Yeah,
No,
well,
I
not too
don't.
often.
I don't come out here too often. We're on our way to Arizona right now, to the
Well, I
Grand
just met
Canyon.
a guy coming from Nevada. You all are going to Arizona.
That's right. And where are you from?
We're from Los Angeles.
Is that right? What are
Yeah.
you doing in this neck of the woods?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. Does your grandmother work in there?
Yes, her name's Ellen Chambers.
Is she a waitress?
Yes,
So she could get us some lemonade.
that's right. She sure can.
That's what we wanted. Come on in. I want you to introduce us because we are hot. We've just been up in a volcano.
This volcano over here, Amboy
Yeah.
Crater.
Have you ever been up there?
No, as a matter of fact, we were just telling each other that we wanted to get on.
Come
up
on.
there.
This lady's grandmother's a waitress in here. So we're gonna, oh boy, civilization, air conditioning.
Hi, Grandma.
Okay, this is,
This is my grandma Ellen. Her name's
hi Ellen,
Chambers.
I'm Huell Hauser.
I'm glad to meet you.
We've been walking a long ways. Are you used to seeing people like us come in hot and tired?
All the time.
And what's the first thing people ask you when they come in?
They want something cold to drink.
That's what we want. We want some lemonade.
Well, then we've got it.
Please, right away with lots of ice.
How many?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just bring them on.
Okay, they're coming.
Okay, we got our lemonade. Jim, get the lemonade. Let's turn around, look at the camera, because we're getting ready to take a break.
Yes.
We need a break. Luis, the cameraman, really needs a break. He's just hiked to the top of that
I
cinder
know,
cone,
that's with
too.
the camera.
And it's hot, and this lemonade tastes real good. We'll see you all in a few minutes. Now, Buster, you own this place. You've been running this cafe for how many years now?
54 years
54 years in Amboy.
in Amboy. Built
So-
everything you see standing now in the town.
So you've seen this place change a lot, haven't you?
Yes, sir. I've seen it from nothing as I built it up, and then I've seen it go down
Uh-huh.
in the same way. Traffic and other things.
Now, when you say go down, it went down because
The highway.
you got highway, this is Route 66
That
right
is
here.
right. The Highway 66, and when they put in 40, like behind us, 12 miles, air miles behind us, it killed it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, killed us dead. But we've managed to keep staying with it until now, and our traffic's begin to come back. It's helping us a whole lot in that respect.
Now, during lunch, I heard you telling somebody that you have people coming through here from all over the world.
Oh, yes. We get, right now, I'd say we're getting approximately 75 from Germany every day.
75 German tourists a day?
That is right, correct.
Well, how many people technically live in Amboy?
29,
29.
yes.
Do you know every one of them?
Oh, yes, you know. You're well acquainted with some of them.
All of them pretty good bunch of people?
Oh, yes, they're all good people.
Because doesn't it take kind of a special breed of people to live out here in the middle of
Not
nowhere?
necessarily. In other words, if you like the desert, you can put up with the heat.
Do you think I could buy some land out here cheap?
Yes, I'd sell you the town, but I want to stay here.
Wait a minute, you want to sell the whole town?
Yes, I'll
Do
sell.
you own the whole town?
I own everything in town. Post office, church, all of it.
And it's all for sale?
Yes, all will go together. I got approximately 1,000 acres out here in the desert.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good deal. Maybe we should talk business here.
Maybe we should.
Well, I could have talked business with Buster all day, but we still had 2 more places to visit. First, we stopped and took a look at the Kelso Dunes, the 3rd tallest dunes in the country. They're huge, rising over 600 feet above the desert floor. And then we stopped in the little desert community of Kelso for a quick tour of the old Kelso train depot and hotel. A wonderful old building. This is really a bit of railroad history, of California history, of desert history.
That's right. This was a very booming era off and on throughout the years. One of the really bustling periods was during the World War II in the 1940s. Just in the Providence Mountains to the south of us here was the Vulcan mine, which was the primary source of iron ore for the iron mills in Fontana. So all those people working the mines would live in little houses down here in Kelso, and this was the focal point of their recreational activities right here at the depot. We're looking to develop this as a visitor center for the East Mojave area, so folks will be able to stop here, get additional information about all the features and what they can do and see.
So they'll be able to stop here and get information about the very things that we have seen today.
Exactly right.
So they can go visit the salt mines, the salt flats, Amboy, the Kelso dunes, the homestead houses, but don't climb the volcano. Well, we have reached the end of our day's journey of our little adventure, which started at 9 o'clock this morning, about 85 miles down that road. And we have certainly had an adventure, and I would like to thank our tour guides for giving us the $5 tour. We are hot, we are tired, we are dehydrated, but we had a good time. Thank you all very much. And the road continues down here. It just goes on out into the desert. There's enough stuff out there to last us all a long time. There are a lot of adventures yet to be had out there. Adventures that'll have to wait for yet another day. As always, in closing, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this little adventure through the hot desert and invite you to tune in again next time as we all continue our search together for California's gold. Goodbye, everybody. Wait a minute, I don't know where I'm walking. I'm going to get back in the car. Turn on the air conditioning. Well, hello everybody, I'm Huell Hauser, and I sure hope you enjoyed this adventure. If you'd like to see it again or share it with your family or friends, or perhaps donate a copy to your local school or library, it's available on video cassette and on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.